Well, ladies and gentlemen, as the fires continue to rage across Southern California, it would seem as if Governor Gavin Newsom's interests aren't exactly in the right place. You see, just yesterday, a video call got leaked which featured California Governor Gavin Newsom, the mayor of Los Angeles Karen Bass, Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden. And what Newsom had to say during this video call is interesting to say the least. And so I want to play that for you guys here in just a moment, but first, there's a highly related clip I think you guys should see before that. Take a look at this.
Governor, you got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now.
So Governor Gavin Newsom is just too busy to talk to this woman who has just lost everything in the fires, by the way, because he has to take a very important phone call from President Joe Biden. Okay, you know what? Maybe this makes sense. Maybe he's going to hop on a phone call with Biden and come up with a plan to fix this entire issue. I'm sure they're about to hop on a call and put together a 10-point plan of action to get things back on track, to put out the fires and rebuild Los Angeles. As these fires are raging across the Southern California landscape, there's a colossal amount of work that needs to be done, and maybe the president can help with that. So surely that's why Newsom has called President Biden, right? Well, no. You see, like I said earlier, we actually have video footage of Newsom's phone call with President Joe Biden, and as it would turn out, Newsom has a different set of priorities right now. Let's take a look.
I ask you, we've got to deal with this misinformation. There were hurricane force winds of mis and disinformation, lies. People want to divide this country, and we're going to have to address that as well. And it breaks my heart as people are suffering and struggling that we're up against those hurricane forces as well. And that's just a point of personal privilege that I share that with you because it infects real people that are out there, people I meet every single day, people the mayor's been meeting with, and they're having conversations that are not the typical conversations you'd have at this time. And you wonder where this stuff comes from. And it's very damaging as well. But we're here to get the job done.
So, Governor Newsom's super important phone call with the president, you know, the phone call that was just so important that he didn't have time to talk to a woman who had just lost everything in the fires, was actually so that he could beg President Joe Biden to start censoring misinformation. And of course, this word misinformation is an interesting word because who gets to decide what's misinformation and what isn't? Well, the progressive elite, of course, because they've decided that it's their job to be the curators of truth, the curators of reality, because you and I are just too stupid to do it for ourselves, according to them at least. Now, very curiously, Gavin Newsom makes this request of President Joe Biden to censor misinformation just a few days after Mark Zuckerberg went on the Joe Rogan podcast to talk about how the Biden administration used to call up Facebook and yell at them to take down posts that weren't expedient for the Biden regime. Take a look at this.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and scream at them and curse, and it's like these documents it's all kind of out there.
Did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we but I think
I want to listen.
I mean, there are emails. the emails are published. It's all kind of out there, and they're like, and basically it just got to this point where we were like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous.
Did you hear that? The Biden administration used to call up Facebook and scream and yell at them until they would take down posts that they didn't like. And so this just seems to be status quo behavior for progressives like Gavin Newsom and President Joe Biden. If they don't like what you're saying, they're going to label it misinformation, then censor you. That's just how they operate. And now, speaking of remaining uncensored, the best way I can make sure that happens is with your guys' support. So hey, if you enjoyed the videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. And so, as these fires are raging across Southern California, destroying everything in their path, Newsom's primary focus is misinformation, whatever that means. Forget the fires, combating misinformation is at the top of Gavin Newsom's list. And this is so important that he actually called up the President of the United States of America to help him do it. But is anyone here really surprised? As we all know by now, the biggest enemy of progressivism is what? The truth. And when confronted with the truth, what do they try to do? Censor it and distort it. because they know the worst thing in the world would be for people to really get a good look at just how terribly their progressive policies do. I mean, just look at these fires. Right now, estimates say it's going to cost $150 billion to recover from this. And why did all of this happen? Because of complete and total progressive incompetence. There are literally third world countries that are better prepared to handle fires than the city of Los Angeles at this point. And by the way, that's not the fault of the first responders, it's the fault of the progressives that have kneecapped their own city. A city, by the way, that at one point, just a few decades ago, was perhaps the embodiment of American success, and it's been completely destroyed in less than one lifetime. I'm sure older members of the audience can confirm. Let us know down in the comments down below. It wasn't always like this. And so let me ask you guys something. Do you think CNN or MSNBC or any of the other mainstream media broadcasts are going to cover this story? No, of course not, because they're a part of the progressive propaganda apparatus. They're bought and paid for tools in the toolbox of crazy progressives like Biden and Newsom. In truth, these mainstream media broadcasts have been completely complicit in allowing these progressives to operate with total impunity and censor any information that makes them look bad. It seems like to these progressives like Biden and Newsom, democracy is less about actually providing results for the people that elected them and more about lying to and censoring people in order to remain in power. Because what's painfully obvious is that progressivism doesn't yield results. Unless, of course, you're looking to have your city burned down, then you should vote progressive. But man, I have to say I'm very happy that the American people are finally waking up to the twisted behavior that these progressives engage in. It seems like people have collectively sort of pierced the veil, so to speak, and they're just not buying the lies anymore. In fact, I have to be honest, I can't even begin to fathom how someone could sit here and watch this video of Governor Newsom begging President Biden to censor misinformation as his state burns down and not have an issue with it. But now here's a crazy idea. Sometimes we're able to actually catch these progressives in the act as they're actively working to manipulate the public, just like we just did with Newsom and Biden. But how many times do they get away with it? How many narratives have the progressives been able to successfully manipulate and we don't even know about it? Maybe we'll never know about it. It's sort of a concerning thought, right? But I do have to say, I think the internet and alternative media sources on the internet have helped a ton with shutting all of that down. It seems like these days, every time a progressive politician or the mainstream media tries to spread a fake narrative or to lie to the people or to censor the truth, there's an army of people just like us willing to step up and call them out on their baloney. And I think that's a great thing. But hey, I think that's all I have for you guys today. So real quick, let's all take a moment to be thankful that Biden is on the way out, Newsom has less than a year left as governor of California, and maybe, just maybe, the country is beginning to heal. So I want to know what you guys have to say about all of this, so please go down below and drop a comment. Please like the video if you liked it. Please subscribe, it's huge and it helps a ton. Thank you all very much for watching, and as always, stay safe.